Hey everybody, Jeffrey here, and welcome to my end of summer front and backyard tour. I'll actually be starting in the backyard, so let's get started. Starting under my little back patio, I've had a lot of baby and shade plants packed under here this spring. Right now I'm growing some polka dot plants and coleus, and the mature ones are out in the yard already. My little area of begonias in these concrete pots did great, as well as my Roma tomato plant that I just did an update on in a previous video. I get about 2 big ones every week and usually 2 or 3 little ones these days. My trio of blue pots under the table are filled with 2 varieties of coleus and a spider plant hiding from the sun under a chair, and petunias on the top that didn't do so great. Oregano grown from seed did excellent. I've cut it back twice and have cooked with it. Blue pansies that are still alive, and another trio of pots filled with a really dark, almost black and deep burgundy color that's really cool called Black Dragon. It has blue flowers that just got done pretty much, but the giant bumblebees are still all over it. And then over by the chiminea I have a scarlet coleus, and on the top I have this year's favorite coleus that I don't have a name for. When you first look at it, it looks like a bronze color and has green and deep burgundy and brown leaves. It's spectacular. Then back here I have my new arch trellis that I bought last month, and an iron planter that I got at True Value Garden Center under it. And here's my grill cover. It's only 3 years old, and between birds on it and sticks falling on it, it ruined the canvas cover, so I've decided to turn it into a planting area and hanging baskets from it and whatever else I have, then maybe later grow some kind of clematis or climbing roses up on it. I have a lot of begonias this year, giant Kimberly ferns, Happy Returns lilies, sedum, Dracaena spike, more sedum that I propagated last year, new cocoa fiber baskets with begonia that got huge, and then another basket full of begonia and potato vine. This side of the yard gets full sun most of the day, but the ferns seem to love it. They do get about a gallon of water every day though. Trees and leaves, leaves and trees. They do block the wind a little bit when the storms come through, but they do make for constant stick pickup and leaves in the fall. Surprise lilies are done. They're the ones that the leaves come up first, then die off, then the stems of the flowers come later. Surprise. The 4 concrete pots are the ones that the birds tore the flowers out of, and some reason I never put anything back in them. I do eventually want to plant this area up, but that'll be another project with a winning lottery ticket, haha. The honeysuckle had its second bloom already, and it lines this entire fence. Huge. It smells great when the flowers are blooming, especially when it's really hot. The purple iris bed is done. There were a lot of flowers that came up the second bloom last month, and it was glorious. The 2 coleus and their big terracotta pots that got huge. A lot bigger than I thought they would. I think having them in front of that fence with the honeysuckle blocked a lot of the wind, so it had a better chance. Hanging basket full of petunias in the front. A hosta that gets bigger and bigger. The clematis that I planted late back in spring did pretty good, I think. It grew about 1 inch a week and made it to the top of this trellis. Then a little bit over onto the downspout. More coleus and a spider plant on the table. And I especially love the big lime green coleus in the middle. That's definitely a repeat for next year. A wandering Jew on top of a spider plant did great from cuttings back in May. Then back here in my tree flower bed, I have different types of plants. It's a maple tree, and it's basically the highway for squirrels to the yard. I just cut it back this spring, so I got rid of a lot of the lower branches that were inches away from hitting my new roof, so I had that done when they removed a tree in the front yard. My heavy wrought iron basket is still hanging from a 25-foot chain I put over one of the branches full of begonia. There's two sides of light to this bed, so I have to try and plan it right. This side gets full shade, so I have spider plants and a giant fern with more begonia, jade coleus, and patience in that new blue pot from Old Time Pottery. Then around here on the sun side, I have white begonia, sedum, another lime green coleus, lavender I just planted a couple weeks ago, and a huge Kong rose coleus. A lot of the plants around here are in pots because I've found out that over the years the in-ground plants just get trampled by squirrels. They don't eat them, but they do like to run by them, breaking the stems and digging around them a lot. And as you can see, I finally scraped off paint pretty much what I can get off the basement. I did use a power washer that got off, I'd say, 2 layers of paint with different colors, but I can tell that over the years it's been painted numerous times. So next spring, the first project is to work on the windows a little bit more, then caulk everything and finally paint. This house is basically square, so each side is pretty much the same amount of painting time, so it's a little bigger than what it looks from the front. Then going into my front yard, I have a bed that just packed with begonia in front of these 2 bushes I just cut back. Brand new roof last year, and the siding is about 3 years old now. New wrought iron cocoa fiber lined pots that I picked up at True Value match some of the hanging baskets, and yes, I have to water them constantly. This house is considered a bungalow with a big porch that I absolutely love. And then out in the front yard, I have a hosta, a peony, and sedum that I just took cuttings from. The flower bed in the front has happy return lilies and 2 scarlet coleuses and a little pot of those cocktail whiskey begonias. Then going up the stairs, I have a couple ornamental cabbages, another Kong rose coleus, ivy, and a sweet Caroline potato vine in that hanging basket, and some spider plants. Wandering Jew that got humongous by my front door, and in those hanging baskets, a lot more begonias of different colors, spider plants that I just propagated. The ornamental cabbages got really big in those blue pots, and a baby spider plant. And another potato vine that's the regular green variety, a caladium. Everything did great this year, and weather-wise it was fantastic. Not too many damaging storms for a change. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed my little tour, and get out there and plant something, whether you have a small house like mine, or an apartment, or just one pot. Point at it and say, now grow. I'll see you in the next video.